Ty-talk! Hey everybody, I'm the one, the only Ty-D80s guy, and welcome to the series premiere of Ty-nee Talk. In this greatly special series, I'll be Ty-talking about the past, present, and future of Ty-D80s guys' 80s and 90s video world. Each episode of this show is between 5 and 10 minutes long. I'll be Ty-talking about the things that I liked about 80s and 90s video world, along with the things I disliked, the changes I made, and the changes I am going to make. You'll also be receiving very special previews of upcoming 80s and 90s video world episodes. So with all that being said, it's time, TYME, for the first real part of this episode. First off, this is not a spoiler-free show, and none of the episodes will be. So this is intended for people who have already watched these episodes, or for the people that don't mind a few spoilers. So with that being said, let's continue on. The introduction party was intended to be an introduction to some of the elements of the series, and I thought that I did a pretty good job of that. The things that I enjoyed the most about the first episode were the passionate speech I gave about how much I wanted this series to be a family-friendly internet show, my very passionate speech on Level 42, the band Level 42, and I really enjoyed talking about Giovanni's Pizza and all the stuff from the Magic Dock fridge. And as one of my best friends, Angie Hooper Owen, suggested that I should use more props in the episode, and I agreed with her. I thought that the episode needed less talking and more action, so I set to do all of that and a lot more in episode 2. My goal of episode 2, Ty Can Dream About You, was to make it better and bigger, but unfortunately bigger doesn't always mean better. I waited until a little later on in the episode to decide to make it so big, so that's why it's nearly 60 minutes in length. So why did I decide to make it so much bigger? Well, when you have Mario and the storyline with the pizza addiction drug and the criminal, which, the episode was so big that I didn't even mention by mouth, what the name of the criminal was, nor what the name of the drug was. So you got a couple messages on screen that gave some details on the background of the criminal, but the pizza drug wasn't mentioned. But that doesn't mean that it won't be mentioned in a future episode, though. I had, all these chaotic scenes with Mario going crazy over his pizza addiction. I had the funny, cute dialogue scenes with me and Mario. And then I had the passionate discussion on Dan Hartman's I Can Dream About You. Like I've told you already, one of the greatest songs of all time. And a nice little tribute to my late great mom. And you had all these elements together, and I just could not tell the story and include those segments. Oh yeah, and I can't forget the Magic Dock segments. Well, this segment, with the foods in it from the fridge, along with the year of each one of them, and a special memory attached to each. And that was dedicated to my dad, my best friend Angie Hooper Owen, and Cat Church, because he really liked the Hormel chili with no beans part. So I here it is again. So with all that being said, episode 2 was not easy. We're already running past the 5-minute mark, so I have to speed this up a bit. Here is the special guest star of episode 2, Mario. Yes, that's his last name. So, you know, it required so much more work because I had to do all that extra editing, and I'm talking, you know, hours worth of editing, because I had to put in the Super Pizzeria Bros so I could blend video with video game, so I could have Mario going, yeah, woohoo, yippee, you know, fireworks, and the scores flashing up on the screen, the special bonus points that appear, you know, whenever Mario does something special, you know, and he had all that blended in with the Ty tune, you know, and the Magic Dock segment, and all that stuff to equal, you know, one really big episode. And I will be going into this all in a lot more detail in a future episode of Ty Talk. So now on to episode 3, as we're getting even closer to the 10-minute mark. This is Louie Flewis and the Blues, and my goal was to make it shorter but a better storyline that flowed better, and I think I did a pretty good job of that. I thought that the storyline was better than episode 2. Not to say that the storyline wasn't good in the second one, it was just kind of all over the place because it was in between the segments. But the way there were no real segments, it was pretty much all focused on storyline, you know, worked with this episode. You don't see Louie Flewis, the flying harmonica fish, in this episode because I wanted to give you a surprise for episode 4. So expect that and more on the ghost. And that ghost from episode 2 was like a lighting trick that was just unexpected, and I haven't been able to duplicate it yet. And it was just when the Wii U gamepad, you know, the screen lights up to alert me that the system is about to be turned off because it had been on for too long, like an hour I think it is. So with all that being said, Louie Flewis and the Blues was a good episode. I want it to be the start of a big tribute to Huey Lewis and the News, one of the greatest bands of all time. So you'll hear a lot more about the making of this episode in a future episode of Ty-nee Talk. In the present, I'm already thinking about other episodes of Ty Talk, and tomorrow I begin filming episode 4. So with everything I've talked about now, I have some great surprises for you. Now it's time for the future of Tidy 80s Guys 80s and 90s video world, or as I call YOND, as in Ty YOND. So here goes. Galaga! We'll have an episode very soon about Galaga. And here we goes. There's Burger Time! So we're going to have a Burger Time episode 2. So there's 2 little previews for you. And those are special arcade machine marquee magnets that are on Doc Brown's Magic Dock fridge. Actually, mine. So, my fridge. So there you go. There's the future. As you see, the shirt I have on is my Bo Dallas Believe shirt, because WrestleMania weekend is coming this Sunday. Yay! So I really hope that you enjoyed the very first episode of Ty-nee Ty Talk, and I hope that you have a great night or day, depending on where you are, and be fantastically chipperific. Believe!